moon landing never happened or if we've never been to the moon, period.
That's a great question. Troy, if you had to guess, would you say the first moon landing was fake and then we got to the moon later, or would you say none of the moon landings were faked, or would you say most?
I don't think we went.
Ever.
I don't think so.
That's a bummer. What about the Russians?
They didn't go to the moon.
Oh.
I don't think we got through the Van Allen belt. I don't think we have the technology yet to do it. But
you don't think anybody's been to the moon?
I don't think so.
Shit.
Humans.
Oh, you think maybe there are other living organisms that have been to the moon?
Possibly.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But not us.
I don't think
Have
so.
we had a ship go there?
Yes.
Right. Right. We haven't landed. We haven't gotten out and walked on it.
There's just too much radiation in the Van Allen belt for us to get through as humans. We have it. I don't think we have the technology.
But we could send like a rover or whatever up
right,
there. Yeah,
right.
yeah. It's not going to get affected by the radiation.
But what do I know?
I'm
a guy screening phone calls here. Like, I have no idea what's going on.
You're just theorizing.
I have no idea.
Right.
Can we look up the Van Allen belt?
Yeah.
There's a great documentary online. It's free. I think it's called American Moon. It's on YouTube.
Nice.
And
a free documentary on YouTube.
Yeah. It's always...
Yeah, there aren't that many of those that are inaccurate.
Because if it's a good documentary, you have to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Well, you figure they have funding.
or like somebody would pick them up, right?
What's the name of the documentary?
Like what about?
I want to read about the Van Allen radiation belt. What it says about it. Can you make it bigger, Travis?
That JFK doc's not free.
Thank you.
The Oliver Stone.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one.
It was real.
Oh,
you didn't like it, Jim?
No, I was watching it. Too much of him in it. Yeah, like walking by the grassy knoll. Some of the people he interviewed were very interesting. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know about, but I didn't love it. I'll watch it again or I'll finish it. I couldn't get through it, and it has to be bad for me not to get through it. But him being in it was just too dramatic and annoying.
A Van Allen radiation belt is a zone of energetic charged particles, most of which originate from the solar wind, that are captured by and held around a planet by the planet's magnetosphere. Earth has two such belts, and sometimes others may be temporarily created. Okay, and this is from The Wire, the science section of The Wire, how NASA worked around Earth's radiation belts to land Apollo 11 on the moon.
Troy doesn't need to hear this.
No. Now this
let me find
is 1969. That was a funny year. Imagine what a blast it would have been to be around in 1969.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah.
He gave that one to us in a couple sentences, you know?
Troy, you're going to win because it was condensed.
Yeah, word economy.
Yeah.
Now, this Van Allen's letter from July 2004.
Yeah, I don't know, though. I mean...
The letter from Dr. James Van Allen says, Troy is a douche.
I'm just Bob Lazar's bullshit.
Oh, wow.
What's the gist of the letter?
I mean, I don't even know what...
Like the jizz of the letter.
Context of the letter is. Oh, no.
I am an engineer who has assembled a website.
This is to Dr. Van Allen.
Oh.
From Jay Windley.
Oh.
He's a webmaster.
Oh, a webmaster. Yeah. Not just a web designer.
No, webmaster.
A webmaster. Yeah. Oh.
I'm the webmaster.
I thought Spider-Man was the only webmaster.
Okay, so what's the documentary? What's the name of the documentary?
It's called America. I think it's called American Moon. I haven't seen it in a while.
Oh. American Moon. American Moonshine? American Moonshot?
I'll find it. And
okay, one thing says, who started the moon landing hoax conspiracy theory? And the thumbnail says, who started this nonsense? So, that person doesn't agree with you, Troy.
That's fair.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, right?
Yeah. And again, what do I know?
Apparently a lot. You're talking about the Van Allen belt in here. Posted pictures on your Instagram.
Well, that was Stanley Kubrick hanging out with NASA people.
You Googled it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's who he's hanging out with.
I'm not saying that's what they were doing, but it's just funny.
Late 60s?
Mid 60s.
Oh, boy. So plenty of time to figure it out before 69, huh?
Right.
Okay. What was he doing with the NASA guys, huh?
Hanging out.
Yeah, Van Allen belts are not hazard to spacefarers.
Okay. That answers that question.
That's a cool...
It was, however, a hazard for the Apollo missions.
Ooh.
The Van Allen belts are not physical barriers to spacecraft, and so, in principle, can you make that bigger, sweetheart? We could have sent the Apollo spacecraft through the belts. It would not have been a good idea. So there must have been a way around it.
Yeah.
And none of the film got damaged coming back.
No.
There's no radiation damage to any of the film.
Put it in your backpack.
You can't even put that shit through an X-ray, right? I mean, they could have had lead bags.
I'm sure they had something else.
You know how, like, when you're at the dentist, they figure out how to
Put that
do
thing
an
around
X-ray?
it.
Yeah, you put that little lead vest on. They could probably have a little lead satchel to put the film in.
I'm sure they figured that out.
You think so?
I do.
How funny would that have been if they were like, "Oh fuck, we didn't even think about the film." Damn it!
fucked up.
Damn it! Hey, who's got Stanley Kubrick's number?
But we don't have the original footage, remember?
No.
No, remember? That was we've looked that up before.
Yeah, didn't they? They had copies of it, and they didn't they tape over the original?
They erased it, but you can't
I
tape over film.
It's stupid that they.
It is tough to tape.
Yeah,
over
they did
film.
a lot of weird shit with old footage.
Well, that's what he said.
That's a little strange.
Tiff in West Virginia.
Morning, boys.
Hi.
I'm just hoping that this is like a fun radio bit, and this isn't the state of the education system in this country currently. But
Well, to be fair, Troy got kicked out of school because he maced somebody and shit his pants.
That's
so
true. That's right.
I don't think it's reflective on the entire educational system.
No.
And he also went to school in
Troy, have you ever heard? Troy, have you heard of lunar laser ranging?
Loser ranging?
The answer is no. He's never heard of it.
He hasn't. No, you're speaking a different language.
Yeah.
So they left mirrors on the moon when they went, so that you could actually shoot a laser at it and measure the distance of the moon from the Earth. That's how we know it's slowly getting further away from us. So
Oh, that's convenient.
you, if you had the wherewithal, could build a laser and measure the distance from your apartment to the moon.
Oh,
All right, well, I'll do that then.
how'd they get those up
Thanks,
there?
buddy.
Well, he's saying that clearly there were people walking on the moon because they put those mirrors down, right? Right, Tiff?
That is correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Doesn't convince you,
So,
though?
good
Troy?
times.
Okay.
Enjoyed the bit, but fucking Troy, get with it. God damn it.
God damn it.
Fucking
It's
man.
embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing, Troy.
Fucking embarrassing,
It's embarrassing.
dude.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
Troy over here acting like he doesn't get hot under the
Yeah.
collar. Like he's the beacon of sanity.
Yeah.
Caller sounded right to me.
Sound right?
I mean, how the fuck are they going to get those mirrors on the moon
Yeah.
if it's not a person putting them there? Shh.
How do you pinpoint that mirror on the moon with a laser?
I guess you just
Like,
point,
what do you hunt for?
maybe you just point the mirror, the laser towards the moon and eventually it hits the mirror.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's coordinates. Right? Some kind of coordinates.
How much further away is the moon?
6 feet.
It's not much.
Nah, it's
It probably is some weird little thing like
It's
that too.
tiny.
A mile.
Yeah.
Not much.
yeah. Moon is moving away from the Earth at a rate of 3.78 centimeters per year. It's nothing.
Who cares?
No, but, are you kidding me? You know how long that trip's going to take?
And also, I mean,
Well, we don't know. We've never been.
That's a great point.
isn't it gonna affect the tides? Right? Doesn't the distance between the Earth and the Moon affect the tides? And doesn't
Yeah.
that affect everything on Earth? Like, well,
And moods.
Yeah, isn't that kind of a huge deal?
Yeah. Don't you think Elon Musk would know this, though? Building rockets and stuff. Being the wealthiest guy on Earth. Don't you think he'd know this if this was fake? And he's putting guys on Mars?
Yeah, he would have found out by now. Yeah. That would be really funny if Elon was like, look, we're planning on sending people to Mars. As it turns out, we've never even sent anybody to the moon.
Thank you, Steve.
Steve, Florida has a really reasonable explanation. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Jim Templeton, how's it going?
Hey.
Good. Thank you, Steve.
Just going to say that, Kubrick was making 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think it came out in '68 or '69. It would be reasonable for him to be with NASA just to get some pointers.
Yeah.
Because the footage in that movie was great, with the no gravity and all that. So, not disrespectful to Troy, but I mean, it's a little,
You're saying
far-fetched.
no
So-
disrespect to Troy, but you thought about it for 15 seconds and were able to come up with a reasonable
Yeah,
explanation.
that makes great sense.
Yeah.
Essentially. So, yeah, that's all I got. Pulling out.
Thank you. That makes perfect sense as to why he would be meeting with people, because he was kind of nuts, and you could see him meeting with NASA people to want to get it right.
Yeah, he was obsessive about it, right?
Yeah, how would things move in space and all this?
Yeah, he wanted it to be accurate.
Because we had never been there to the moon
Yeah.
at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Is there an article below it, Travis?
It just kind of says what that guy said.
Or does it mention Space Odyssey?
Yeah, Kubrick directed the science fiction movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. The movie was finished and released in 1968, which means that they had been filming and preparing the film for years before 1968.
Yeah.
As Kubrick was known to take a long time with his films due
Yeah.
to his meticulous nature and attention to detail. Okay. I don't know if this article is going to be good or not. The supposed Apollo 11 moon landing was on July 20th, 1969. Oh, this is from Troy's website, which was not long after the release of Kubrick's movie. This is strong circumstantial evidence that the filming of 2001 was partly used as a beta test to design. Okay,
That's not strong evidence at all. I mean, that's coincidental at best.
Right, let me find
That's
the
actually
article.
that's actually the
Skip that one.
that's actually the opposite of strong evidence. I don't think that's what that.
That's just a guess.
Let's forget that.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's circumstantial and not even.
Jim, you've seen The Shining before, right?
Yes. Is that with Nicholson?
Yes.
It's a. The TV version I saw.
Yeah, I only saw the one with Steven Weber from Wings.
Okay. Go back and watch the movie because The Shining, according to this article, was basically a very cleverly veiled admission to the world that he had directed the Apollo 11 film.
I knew it was something other than just a horror movie. What? Explain that to me. That makes perfect sense.
There are tons of clues in the movie that amount to
course.
Kubrick telling the audience he was involved.
Go ahead.
It's a long story in itself, but Stephen King, who wrote the book that the movie was based on, disowned Kubrick's movie version because it was so far removed from King's book version.
Yes, that's true.
That's
True.
Again, Kubrick was given the power to do and say just about anything he wanted.
That's right.
So he was able to use The Shining as one big metaphor for his Apollo 11 experiences. Again, I see.
What does
So
one have to
does
do
he
with
have,
the other?
Does he have any evidence here?
But isn't that a great trick that people do? Like they do a paragraph, right? And the first half of the paragraph is factually true. Like we know this is 100% true. And then the second half of the paragraph is an unrelated statement. And you're like, well, if the
Between Jack Torrance and Grady in the bathroom when he has a little bit of avocado spilled on his jacket, and that dialogue was taken from between Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin.
Wow.
They said those things to each other.
wow, I had no idea.
Your son.
Look, he's wearing a rocket ship on his sweater that says Apollo 11.
That is true.
If there's one thing that is not interesting to kids, it's space and astronauts. Who ever heard of a kid that liked rocket ships? It doesn't happen.
Okay. Conspiracy theorists believe there are multiple clues in The Shining that point to the fact that Kubrick shot the moon landing, and this was his way of confessing.
Was it because Neil Armstrong on the ship on Apollo 11 got blown by a guy in a bear suit?
Shit.
Did I skip ahead? I'm sorry.
That's exactly it. Now, Michael Collins was circling the moon.
Yeah.
He he forgot Neil and Buzz were on the moon, unquote. He was going, little pigs, let me come in.
The Overlook Hotel.
Right.
In the beginning of the film, we're told the Overlook Hotel stands on an Indian burial ground.
Yeah.
A manager who meets with Jack has an American flag on his table with an eagle looking over them. This is taken as a nod to the Eagle, which was the name of lunar landing module that carried
Of course.
Yeah, it's not just common symbols like a flag and an eagle, like something you would have at a fucking a rustic hotel.
That wouldn't happen.
No.
That wouldn't happen.
Good stuff. What
Yeah.
else?
The twins.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kubrick changed a lot of details when he made the movie.
Yes.
One of those elements is the appearance of the dead twins.
Made it scarier.
In the book, there was a single child, but it is believed Kubrick used the twins to signify the failed Gemini mission by NASA.
I love people's autism. How they're such smart people, but it just this spiral into things that are just pointless.
I just love that they're like,
Gemini.
How do you look at that and be like, oh?
I love that they go, well, hey, The Shining, the movie, is not like the book. And you're like, right. And you're like, so clearly he filmed the moon landing. And it was fake.
Not because this was terrifying, this scene.
The whole movie is a masterpiece.
Stephen King didn't like it, and I get why, but he made it scarier. In the book,
Yeah, because he did it better.
they're hedge animals, which he couldn't have done with technology back in 1980.
So it would've sucked.
And he also he was chasing him with a croquet mallet, not an axe, like stuff like that. Stephen King changed in the book. Scatman Crothers lives. He gets hit with like a croquet mallet. It's not nearly as frightening.
No.
And the book concentrates more on the house, on the horror of the house and the evil of the house. But in the movie, they just made it about kind of Jack going crazy.
A lot of the stuff in Stephen King's books are scary because you kind of visualize them in your head. But the idea of watching them on a screen, they'd be like, yes, to hook you into the idea. Like if you're just watching a movie and some bushes shaped like elephants come to life, that's not scary, that's dumb.
Right, yeah, but in a movie, it wouldn't look right.
It wouldn't look good.
All right, now this is kind of a three-parter, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
The carpet patterns.
Yes. Which they have at the Alamo Draft House. The Alamo Draft House, named after Texas, one of the great American states. America faked the
Moon landing.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. It's called
You're like
Connection.
Jeff Goldblum.
It's called. That's where I got it from.
Yeah.
All right, the carpets look strikingly similar to the Apollo 11 launch pad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then
We
you got
see that?
Danny's sweater
That's right.
with the Apollo 11.
Yes.
He rises up from the carpet.
Sure, as a boy will do when someone rolls a ball.
And
AKA
definitely,
Launchpad.
definitely not just because Apollo 11 and the mission was like a big symbol of America at
No,
the time.
not at all.
No.
Then room 237.
Uh-oh.
As
Right.
Danny rises up with the carpet, seen as the launch pad, wearing his sweater, Apollo 11,
Right.
he enters the dreaded room 237.
Oh, no.
In the book, the room number was 217.
What?
But it is widely believed, that Kubrick changed it to 237 as the distance between Earth and the moon is roughly 237,000.
Wait,
Roughly?
Roughly.
Roughly?
Travis, look it up.
238 now.
230.
So it's not.
So why not make it 238?
You'd be or 239. It's 238,900.
It's not roughly. It's not. It's wrong.
Yeah, but it's widely believed.
Oh, so 217, he wanted to make it a little closer?
Well, you'd make it
Why not make it 238?
or 239. It's you'd round up.
Such... That's the type of,
239.
it's like, what are you doing? It's an idiotic.
If you're gonna change it to 237, you can't change it to 239.
Why would he change it?
I honestly don't know why he would change it unless...
Well, I tell you why. I tell you what it wasn't. It wasn't the distance between the Earth and the Moon. It's
pretty close.
Because that's
close.
not the distance between the Earth
What
and
was
the
the
Moon.
original number?
217.
Okay, what's closer than that?
I wonder if it's something stupid, like the way Scatman Crothers said it, in 237. Maybe he just liked how he seems like he was crazy like that. He might just like the
Obsessive.
sound. He might like the sound of 237 better than 217, or maybe 237 has a personal meaning for him for
Or
something
maybe the
else.
sequential nature of 2-3, like it just kind of rolls.
217. Maybe it doesn't
237.
sound as good as 237.
Yeah, 7
I
and
don't
3 worked in my head. 7 and 3 are puzzle pieces. 10, you see, I mean, maybe I
Or-
think about numbers
I
weird
really
sometimes.
don't know the answer to that.
It could be because it's roughly 237,000 miles to the moon.
But it's
But it's-
238.9.
yeah.
The moon has moved 3
Oh, that's
centimeters
true.
a year.
So it's actually 2 feet further away now than it was when they.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so that's a non-point.
Jack's
No.
writing.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, there are like people who are obsessed with numbers. There, and I don't know if Stanley Kubrick was or not. It seems like he could have been. A lot of them are obsessed with the number 3. Like 3 is a number that a lot
Yeah.
of people are obsessed with. So the idea that he would want a number 3 in there is not unheard of just because he's obsessed with that number. It is not the distance between the Earth and the Moon.
Jack's writing.
Frank and Kubrick left. Sorry, Frank had a point. Frank was better. Frank and Kubrick.
Troy got
Idiots.
excited. What's up, Frank? Frank was better?
Hello, Frank.
Let me be frank.
Everyone say hello. We got you right there. Your phone's fading away.
Oh, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir,
Is
we
your
can.
name Frank?
Okay, yeah. So the Kubrick lenses thing, he got the lens from NASA to film this movie, Brandon London or something like that.
Barry London.
It was Barry London.
Linden.
Oh, wait,
yeah,
Barry Lyndon. Barry Lyndon. Sorry.
Lyndon. Barry Lyndon. Yeah, yeah. It's something about the way he wanted to shoot it, and the candle lighting had to. Something with candles and lighting. He wanted to shoot it a certain way, so he got the lenses, the film lenses from NASA.
He shot that whole film with natural lighting. Sorry to interrupt you, Frank. That whole film, I think, was done with natural light
Yeah.
and candles.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
But I mean, okay.
Right.
So the idea that he got the lens from NASA, is that more towards the idea that he helped him with the moon landing? Because
No, not at all. It's fucking,
Oh, okay.
no, it's fucking retarded. Not at all, it's fucking retarded.
Sorry, Troy. Just trying to
Yeah.
He's in pretty deep with
But,
NASA.
try. Well, yeah. I mean, he did meet
Yeah, I
them
mean,
when
yeah,
he was
he's
doing
a filmmaker.
2001.
Yeah. The fucking filmmaker. Stupid.
Thank you, Frank.
All right, thanks, Frank. All right, so what about the writing, Travis?
All right. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Then how about no work and all play makes Travis also dull? Boo.
While
True.
it's kind of a long shot,
This way. Wait,
Wow,
wait,
if
wait.
this guy is saying it,
It's a stretch.
conspiracy theorists believe that all actually signifies A11, i.e., Apollo 11.
Apollo 11
and no play.
work
A11.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
A11. So Apollo 11 work and no play make Jack a dull
What does dull
boy?
mean? DU hockey sticks? What the fuck is
And why does Apollo 11 work and no play make Jack a dull boy?
It doesn't.
No, it's just focus on all.
What about
He's just throwing it in. He's just throwing it in.
Okay, this is not someone's deep dive into mental illness.
There's so many other words.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Work
just have to
and
focus on
no
all.
play make Jack a dull boy.
Because all written on a typewriter looks like A11, which, as we all know,
So important to the movie.
And by the way, all work and no play is a very, very famous saying. They didn't make that
Yeah.
up for the movie.
is that in the book? I've never read the book.
No, I don't believe it is.
Okay, now I'm back with Troy. Now I'm back on Troy's Instagram going,
Here we
okay,
go.
this is
Here we
worth
go.
pursuing.
Yeah. That's probably one of the things that I'm going to guess that's one of the things Stephen King hated because it implies that Jack was nuts when he got there.
It also
Yes.
implies that we didn't go to the moon.
That's a great point, Travis.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Couple of implications there.
Why Stephen King hated this movie.
That's right. Big moon guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's friends with
What? Look, here's why Stephen King hated the movie. Because Stanley Kubrick took Stephen King's story that Stephen King loved and he made it much better.
He made it in film because Stephen King, whenever he's involved with his films, they're never great. His TV, it was okay.
Maximum Overdrive ruled.
Yeah, he's just not. I mean, he's a genius, but he's not great at transferring. He's too married to what he wrote.
Yeah, he's a literary genius.
And being a filmmaker is different. Is a different thing in horror.
100%. Greg in Chicago. What's up, Greg?
Hey, what's up, guys? So
Hey.
what I'm just wondering is, like, did they trick Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong? Or are those guys just
Michael
they
Collins?
yeah, did they fucking just, like, they're the best secret holders of ever, you know? Like, you think some
They're
guys
dope.
were on, like, how the fuck, you know?
Also, Jim Lovell and the other two, however you say his last name, and the other two guys from Apollo 13, who circled the moon but didn't come back.
How
but
come-
couldn't land?
How come they couldn't shut up Bob Lazar, but they could shut up the astronauts?
There you go.
How many people have landed on the moon? There's been a
Zero.
few. Well, according to NASA, that's great.
Zero.
I was doing air quotes.
That's zero.
Thank you, Greg.
There's been a few people on the moon, or 12 humans. Okay,
And all of them
are lying.
are
Plus,
sworn to secrecy.
plus the 3 people on Apollo 13 who circled the moon allegedly.
Allegedly.
So there's 15 people who they have said are going to lie.
And didn't they get it? Apollo 13 is the one they did the Tom Hanks movie about.
That's what I'm saying. There's 3 of those guys.
So that rocket ship almost crashed. You'd think after dealing with all that shit, they'd be like, we didn't even see the moon.
But those guys, so there's got to be at least 15 people lying. And plus, how many people on the ground that were supposedly in mission control who all had to be aware of the lie? All of them had to know.
Not everybody. You can be compartmentalized.
Go ahead.
But I mean, all the people in the mission control room.
And the people that built all the rockets and everything, it's compartmentalized.
Wait, so all those people that, like, when you see mission control, when there's like 80 people are in a room looking at a screen or whatever they're looking at, you think half of those people are stupid enough to be fooled by them going, yeah.
certain people that are in the know. Look, dude.
No.
ahead.
But, Travis, get a picture of the Apollo
There's
11
a whole room full of
right.
people.
So I'm saying in that room, all of them are like, some of those people think they're looking at a screen, but they're not.
They're watching a movie.
I tell you what, there's a lot of...
But they're all doing calculations. They're not watching it live. They're all doing calculations.
They think they're helping.
To Troy's point, there is a room full of engineers here at SiriusXM who know fuck all about the studio.
That is a good point.
I mean, they walk in here and they don't know what the hell's going
Yeah,
on.
it might,
Ass from elbows.
it might as well be Apollo 11 in here.
So how many people are in that room? Can you take a rough guess? Is there more than 50?
Yeah.
So how many of those people do you think?
But if you had to
were-
guess.
Like, you're looking at
5.
like. So do you think that 45 of them are kind of mathematical geniuses,
I'd say there's close to 100 in there.
but being lied to and believing it?
If we're up against the Russians in a space race,
Right.
and it looks bad against the
Sure.
country that we've made the declaration in 63 that we're going to the moon. It's 69, and we could look
Nice.
very weak if we don't make it to the moon. And they said, for our country, we have to say this. Now, look, I'm bullshitting. with you. I don't know.
So I'm only asking the specific. I know you don't know. Of
And
course.
if they say, look, this looks bad against our country, it makes us look weak if we don't make it to
Right.
the moon. We have to say we went. And these people are Americans, and they say, okay,
Sure.
we'll go along.
So
with it.
out of that 100, because they are all in the same room, so it's hard. It's even harder to believe that some of these brilliant people are being fooled while they're all doing it by certain people in the room who know the answer.
But you could also be sworn to secrecy if you work for a company.
Okay,
like
so
NASA.
are you saying that possibly out of 80 people, let's say 80, they've all been sworn to secrecy, as well as the ones on every other mission, which some of them would have been the same.
This is just one mission.
This is one mission. This would have been, say, out of the missions to the moon.
There's 12, right, total?
There's 12 people, 15 if you count the other ones.
Oh, so like 6
plus
five,
3
five
who
or six.
died in the capsule when they were doing something on the actual.
So how many mission control rooms are we talking about? 6?
I don't know how many, 4 or 5 maybe. Say times 80. So, but say 40 of them were the same and 40 were different.
So 450 people.
So them plus the astronauts, 465 people have been sworn to secrecy and know about this and are not saying anything.
I'm sure there's a lot of people sworn to a lot of secrecy
No, but I'm
involving
like,
our country.
yes, okay.
Possibly.
By the way, since 1969.
Yeah.
Meaning that, like, it's one thing to keep them quiet in the room,
Yeah.
even for a decade, but that only brings us to 79.
But then we stopped going to the moon.
Why?
Exactly.
Well, there was, their reasoning is there was just nothing to gain from it. There was no, it was really expensive.
Been there, done that.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah,
There's not much.
Hey, been there, done that, if you say so.
What are we going to get off the moon? The budget didn't have it. There was nothing in the
Costs
budget.
a lot of money.
I'll tell you
And
what
there
we're
was,
going to
and there
get
was
off.
honestly nothing there for us.
But I'll tell you what we're going to get off the moon.
These people have made a deathbed confession.
No. How many? Can we say how many missions to the moon have there been? I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess 4. I might be wrong. 12 people.
It is funny, the idea that we just said that they're watching a Kubrick movie and they had no idea.
6 missions. Okay, so 6 missions. And again, these are not all new crews. So say out of the 80 people, can you say how many people are in mission control during a mission? Is it 80 or 60 maybe?
While you're looking for that, let's go to Paul. What's up, Paul?
Oh yeah, hey, about the moon landing. You know how Neil Armstrong, when he set foot, how he kind of screwed up the speech?
He claims he didn't, but yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you think if it was faked, they would have done a take where he was clear and would have said that speech right?
That's a great point. Yeah, you're supposed to say
could've done a
one
reshoot.
small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind, but it came out as one small step for man. And you can't tell if there's a microsecond blip in the radio transmission, which is him saying one small step for man. Is the word A there? It's hard to tell.
I don't think so.
it
But,
would still be clear, you know?
I mean, and
He wouldn't
Paul,
make it clear.
also, while we have you, for clarity's sake, should be pointed out that the person who is really pushing the idea that the moon landing was fake also thinks that the word speech is spelled S-P-E-A-C-H.
There's no A.
Exactly why you shouldn't be listening to me.
S-P-E-A-C-H.
Yeah.
On point.
All right. Thank you.
Paul.
Yay.
You ever realize you're arguing with somebody that maybe thinks speech is spelled with an A?
I can't see the screen.
Is that the problem?
I think so.
Let's go to Tom in New York. What's up, Tom?
Good evening.
Hey.
Yeah, hi. The reason why they're hiding the fact that they did land on the moon is because when they got to the moon, they actually saw aliens on the moon, supposedly, according to this guy's insider named William Tompkins.
Yeah.
And they had to create this fake film in order to show that they landed on the moon. That's why the film looks fake. Does that make any sense?
No, yeah, but when they saw the aliens, what were the aliens doing and where were they? And how come no one has seen them with a Earth-based telescope?
Well, because first of all, they were like, I don't know. I mean, that's far away. How the hell are you going to see? Oh, literally.
Dude, they have telescopes that can see pretty clearly.
You have an idea how powerful telescope you need to see up in the sky?
They literally have telescope.
Tom,
I believe they actually have telescopes that can technically see the footprints. A good enough telescope can see the footprints on the moon.
Can we see that, please?
Yeah,
Can you find that?
Yeah, and I honestly don't know if that's from an Earth-based telescope or a Hubble.
Find the Hubble telescope taking pictures of the rover and footprints on the moon.
Oh, boy. Norton, you may have stepped in it.
Well, I'd like
you
to
may
see
have
it.
stepped in some real evidence.
Earth-based. Yeah, I'm saying I don't know if it's Earth-based or not.
Earth-based photos finding the flag, the footprints, and the rovers on the moon.
Oh, okay. They're 1,000 times too small to be seen from an Earth-based telescope. So maybe it's just a.
That's convenient.
So you can see galaxies far away, but you can't see the footprints.
Well, the difference is you're seeing. You can see the galaxies, yeah, because it's light. Whereas a footprint is a little dark mark on a.
The rovers are all still there.
Well, galaxies are huge.
I mean, we can zoom in on tiny little things on Mars.
Yeah, but when you see a galaxy, you're seeing a billion stars that looks like one point of light. Like you're seeing something that is say 50 or 1,000 light years wide as a pinpoint of light. Like that's all you're seeing. You're not seeing individual stuff in the galaxy.
But you understand, we have the technology on Earth to take pictures of Mars little detail on the surface of Mars.
And we can't get those footprints?
So we should be able to see the rover that landed on the moon.
Well, the details we take on Mars, you're right, but I think those are from the rover that's actually there.
Pre that.
And I'm guessing that's from something that was orbiting the moon, probably not from Earth.
So then there has to be something orbiting the moon.
They had something, orbiting Mars. I don't know.
Okay, so he's saying, well, if it's orbiting the moon, why can't it take pictures of footprints?
Yeah, are there no photos of the footprints from space? Maybe I'm wrong. I mean,
But that's wild. I mean, that would just debunk everything. Just be like, look, here's a picture we took. There's the rover sitting there on the moon.
It wouldn't debunk anything to me. The rover they should be able to see, but the footprints wouldn't debunk it. I was just incorrect.
No, the rover.
Are there no photos of the rover from
or the
space?
flag?
Or the flag.
Let's see that flag.
Yeah, maybe they're too small. I don't have an answer
But
to
see,
that.
that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, there's no light source from it either. Like those things that are taken when you're talking about things in space, they're light sources. They're taken with like under ultraviolet light, or they're seen as light. I mean,
but there was light on the astronauts when they landed on the moon. You could obviously because the photos lit.
Yes, from there.
So that means that light does shine on that place of the moon. So
it's not the dark side of the moon.
No,
light shining on. Again, I'm not a scientist. Light shining on it might give a different ability to be photographed than actually it emitting light and it giving off a source as a source of light.
A Land Rover is a pretty big vehicle.
How big is it?
Yeah,
it's a frame of a Jeep.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know why. Can they not find photos of it or no?
Of what?
The rover.
The rover.
The rover
from Earth.
I don't know.
Are you looking for footprints?
Flag.
But by the way, a universe is way bigger than a Jeep.
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair.
I know what you're saying.
I have a
but,
Jeep.
Yeah,
you couldn't fit a universe in there.
No, Sam. What I'm saying is, with Mars, you can take detailed photos from Earth on Mars,
but you can't take more detailed. What detailed photos of Mars are people taking from Earth?
Oh, whatever. You could even other planets, Jupiter. You can
What are they looking at there, Travis?
In 2011. These are photos taken from NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, 14 and 17 landing sites.
Okay, so you can't take the photo. The feet, I was wrong. Let me. Can you open them up a little bit? Yeah, and if they're lying about it, why wouldn't they fake clear photos? If they can fake the moon landing, why wouldn't they fake better photos?
That's a tremendous question.
How are they taking that bad of photos?
I don't think it's a bad photo. I just think that something
in 2014, that's the best photo we can get of the moon
from space. Maybe, yeah.
Orbiter?
Guys.
Yeah.
You guys are.
What, do they got an iPhone?
Yeah, maybe from space it's a tougher photo to take.
Yeah, they didn't send
It's wild how detailed these photos can get from anywhere, but they're this blurry.
Well, I haven't seen anything that's the size of a Jeep on Mars.
I haven't seen. Yeah, what are some Earth-based photos of Mars? Galaxies are a bad example just because space is black, they're light.
They're also huge.
And you're also seeing something that's, 1,000 light years wide as a pinpoint of light.
Right.
That's how our telescopes are good, but you're seeing something that's a billion giant things bigger than our sun.
Okay.
You're seeing as one pinpoint of light.
That's the best Earth-based view of Mars, and it's the whole planet.
Sure,
it's
I
the
don't see
least.
anything
It's the
There's
least.
no details on that.
It's a terribly undetailed photo.
But do you have the capability of taking photos of the moon from space?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So why can't we get a detailed photo of the Land Rover sitting on?
My guess is that they haven't spent a lot of time doing it. Like for what? Like whenever they take
for what,
photos,
to shut you up?
Whenever they take photos from space, they usually aim a camera somewhere and they have a reason to do it. And there's a limited amount of time because everything's moving. So if somebody said, "Why don't we take photos from space of the moon landing site?" Somebody would go, "Why?" Like for what?
Why? We did it.
Like I don't get why we would do that. There's no purpose.
Because they're like, well, people are saying nobody landed here. Let's just show them that. Look, there's the shit we put there.
But maybe scientists don't.
That's a good point.
Maybe they're not looking at it like, let's get a small segment of people who won't believe it anyway to shut up, and we can actually use this for scientific purposes that we need.
Why not just get a filmmaker to take a picture of the rover? If a filmmaker did it to start with.
And if it's there and we have good technology, just have somebody take a picture of it.
I'm guessing that the craters look small. Like we look at how small those little detailed photos they're taking, but they're not small. They're actual craters.
They're huge.
That are large. Yeah, they look small, but they're not.
Canyons.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, from space, you can zoom in on Google Maps into tiny little, from way up in space, zoom in. You can't take a photo of a Land Rover on Mars?
I guess those are the best photos they have. But if they haven't tried it in 10 years, if that's the most detailed photos they have is 10 years ago.
Plus, if Google Maps were that good, they wouldn't need those cars driving around neighborhoods with the cameras on the top.
It's an excellent point.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And you can get a certain amount of detail from Google, like when you zoom in from Google. closer than the ones? How far was that thing that took those photos? I don't know any of the answer to that.
Well, I mean, yeah, Google satellites are right above us.
Right. How far was that taken from? Was that taken from something that was the same distance?
Probably not.
This is where you need Dr. Tyson.
Nah.
Or any physicist.
Troy doesn't think so.
I'd rather get Dr. Steve.
Let's see. 40 years later, flags remain on the moon.
How do they know?
In parentheses, it says we guess.
Yeah, probably.
No, it says flags remain in quotes.
I don't know how far away it was. Oh, 100 meters.
Okay,
Right?
let's see what Tom in Connecticut has to say, because this is a wild ass phone call description. What's up, Tom?
It's Troy from the other room.
Hey, I just want to say that all of the NASA stuff is fake because my grandmother is Krista McCullough from the Challenger. Mic drop, motherfuckers.
Whoa!
So she lived.
Is. That's what I said is.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
Oh my God!
Jesus!
And I'm going to tell you, Tom. I may not know your last name, but I'm going to take your word for it
Delange.
this time. Tom Delange.
I was in the room, so I wasn't sworn to secrecy. I'm allowed to say it.
Whoa!
Thank you.
We finally found one.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. Not sworn to secrecy. Got the answer. It's amazing that we don't have the technology to get to the moon, but we can send a satellite into space to do the radio show.
Yeah, and we can also have things like the space station and tourists now going up.
Just real right above us.
Yeah, well, they're floating. I mean,
not to the moon though.
No,
nobody's been to the moon.
No, and the Soviets would never have called. Here's the beautiful thing about the Russians: they would never have called us out on it. Neither would the Chinese.
Well, they cooperate.
The Russia and the Chinese would never have called us out on the lie.
Why didn't they do that?
Call it out on the lie?
Yeah, why didn't Russia and the Chinese?
Maybe they didn't know our technology.
Why wouldn't even now? Why wouldn't the Russians be like bullshit?
Yeah, maybe that's who did American Moon on YouTube.
The Russians.
That's Putin.
Was that what it sounded like? And they pretend to go to moon.
I'm telling you, this is a great documentary. You should watch it sometime.
3.5 hours.
It's long.
I mean, of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
What, you can make it 5 minutes? Yeah,
No,
there you go.
but
Here's
come on,
a documentary.
dude.
90
They
minutes.
clearly go into explaining what it's like. There's a lot to digest with
You think
this.
there's a lot of circle talk?
Remember when I told you that there's all this
around.
like stuff on the internet that makes people crazy and convinces them that they're right? Never mind.
But-
Well, very positive comments.
Are they? Okay. You know what? It's hard to have 3.5 hours, but I try to watch this stuff because I like to be informed.
Watch it, Jim.
So watch it.
Watch it.
I'll watch it piecemeal. I did watch the one UFO documentary that you told me about,
you did. You
and
did.
I did, and I watched the other one that came out.
Yeah.
And they it was amazing up until they went into the African.
Big time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but I was just too long on it.
Like you don't think that's worth examining?
It is, but not.
It
It
is.
it lost me because I have much more interest in what pilots say and what and possible photos and videos than what children say.
And that
about
was at the end of the documentary.
It was too long.
Yeah, it was long.
It was
But
too, that part.
The fact that 6 kids all saw the same thing is pretty wild.
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
the McMartin preschool, the whole fucking school said they were molested, and it turns out they weren't. Like,
What?
kids' minds are not to me as trustworthy as adult minds. Like, and pilots, I would put more stock in. I could have listened to a pilot tell the same story as another pilot over and over again. I would put more in that. I'd just much rather hear them saying it.
You put higher stock in that?
The children with lower stock.
But the kids you could have, but I just thought they spent too much time on it and they wasted what could have been a lot of valuable time.
Patrick in New Jersey.
Hey guys, I think it's interesting that Troy thinks that we can't make it to the moon, but we can launch a satellite that can look at the edge of the universe where the light is taking literally millions of years to get here, and he uses that as a justification. The Hubble Space Telescope isn't looking at light that you see in the moment. It's looking at light that's millions of years old. So we have that technology.
Yeah.
And we also have the technology to put the James Webb Telescope. That doesn't orbit Earth. That orbits
between the moon and sun, right?
A million miles away.
Yeah, that's the one I asked that astronaut about, the James Webb. I didn't know the name of it, but that was the one I asked. It's in not deep space, but deeper space than Hubble.
Yeah.
And
How did he
it's
handle the
balanced
question?
he had no idea.
He's
It's
graceless.
balanced between the gravitation of the sun and the moon the sun and Earth at 1 million miles away.
Yeah, and they'll probably get amazing. Is it up there now? I think they're still running tests on it, right, for like a few months.
Yeah, it's in position now, and they completely unfolded all of the mirrors that go along with the telescope, and it's in there ready to go. They're just finalizing all fine tuning all the mirrors and sensors. And then the other thing I wanted to say is if you go to space.com, which I'm sure is a bullshit conspiracy site, you go and you can actually see the Apollo 11 moon landing site.
How far away is the James Webb Telescope? Do you know?
Not specifically, but I think it's either 1 million miles or 1 million kilometers away.
Oh yeah, I wonder how long it takes. Like if there's a repair to be done, like on the Hubble, they can fly guys up. How would they repair this James Webb? Would they have to send just a machine?
You can't.
Really?
You can't. Yeah, it's that far away. I think it took like 6 months to get there.
We looked it up, Travis. I'm curious.
You want to know how far away it is? 237.
Yeah, 237.
Can they send? Is there any type of like an automated ship they can send to do repairs on that if they had to? There's got to be a way to fix something. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Patrick.
What does this say?
Location and orbit. This is the James Webb Telescope. Its actual position varies between about 250,000 kilometers and 832,000 kilometers, which is about 517,000 miles from L2 as it orbits.
Troy, what's L2?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Might not mean from Earth.
Keeping it out of both Earth and Moon's orbit.
That's and the Hubble is 550 kilometers. So this is way further.
L2 is shorthand for the second.
Is it a gravitational thing between the Moon and or Earth and Sun?
A wonderful accident of gravity and orbital mechanics.
How do they know?
I don't know where.
The gravity from the Sun and the Earth balance the orbital motion of a satellite. It's just it's like a weird place between two points of gravity. I guess
L2 lies 1 million miles from Earth.
Oh wow, he's right, 1 million miles.
But in the opposite direction of the Sun.
Allegedly.
Wait.
Thank you.
Oh, it's not towards the Sun?
No, it's the opposite direction, I guess.
Oh, I thought it was 1 million miles towards the Sun. I was wondering, would it fuck up the pictures, all that bright light?
Allegedly.
I tell you, if all this is true, what Troy's saying, that show Third Rock from the Sun makes no sense.
Big if true.
You know what? With the Earth, Moon, and Sun behind it, a spacecraft can get a clear. Okay, that makes sense. I thought it was between the Earth and Sun, and I'm like, I think the light from the Sun. I mean, if the Empire State Building fucks up a photo because of the light, how does the Sun not do it?
That's true.
It's 1 million miles into space with all of us behind it. Okay, perfect.
That's true.
Can they do repairs on it if they had to, or no?
If it's broke, it's broke.
What is this called again?
James Webb.
Come on, Travis, get with it. Let's go to Charles in Chicago. Man, is Travis the most
James Webb is
heavy...
not designed to be serviced or repaired.
Wow.
You might be the most heavy-fingered typer that I have ever encountered.
He's got strong hands, baby.
Boom, 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 boom. I thought we were landing on the moon.
It is out of reach.
Just out of reach.
That is a fucking...
You just gotta hope your $10 billion doesn't
what if something
float away.
doesn't open up right? You can't have... There must be some checks and balances on it that can kind of self-repair a little bit. There has to be. To adjust. Holy shit.
Imagine if it broke right when it went up there. Oh, man.
Oh, fucking... Or if a little piece of moon debris or space debris hit
Just
it.
knocked it. Oh, nerds.
Dude, there's fucking space debris all over the place. Little rocks and things the size of this microphone flying around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you bet there is. Charles in Chicago.
Hello.
Yeah, how about we just look at the other countries that have made moon landings?
Yeah. I didn't know if there were or not. I honestly didn't know.
Okay, well, how about if
there's a rover from China on the moon?
Well, if we faked it because we can't get there, and then China was like, "Hey, we went to the moon," wouldn't America have been like, "No, that's horseshit. China didn't go to the moon."
China say like they never went. We just went there. We checked.
Yeah,
no
and
flag.
if China did go to the moon, they'd be like, "Guys, this is crazy. Not only did we go to the moon, there's not shit up there."
Do you know what dicks they could make us look like?
Oh, no rover, no flag, no footprint. I mean, it is untouched.
Troy?
And there's international cooperation between. I mean, I think Russia just ended it between the Soviets, and even in bad times, we kind of always cooperated. But yeah, that's a great point. How many countries have gone to the moon? I didn't even think to that point.
There is.
Astronauts on the there are other countries that put astronauts on the moon.
No, or rovers or whatever.
Well, I'm not saying you can't send a rover.
But then why wouldn't they point out the fact that we haven't?
Seven countries.
Yeah, well, where's their
7
picture?
countries.
You think they'd go there and be like, "Oh, look, here's the American rover. We found it."
For what? Like for them, you and I having this fun chat. Scientists don't need to do that. Like they don't.
Descriptor.
Scientists don't go like, "Hey, let's prove to people that we're here." Like they just for what?
Yeah, that doesn't. sense to me. I don't know why somebody just doesn't, from Earth, take a picture of the moon where we landed. We didn't land on the dark side of the moon.
You don't think Luxembourg, when they went, would have said, hey, there's no flag here?
Then just take a fucking picture. Let me see it.
So wait, countries which have landed or orbited the moon by number of missions: U.S. 30, U.S. SSR, Russia 23, China 7. So you think there are 60 between
this,
three
by the
countries?
way, ends in 1990.
It ends in 1990. So by then, you think there are 60 missions with different countries, different astronauts, and different control rooms full of people, all of who are silent and none who are tattling on each other.
Sworn.
But again,
Jim.
no astronauts. Just America's the only ones that put astronauts.
Only one.
But again, the other
That's
ones,
interesting.
the other ones not knowing that this was faked.
But like, if Russia's gone so many times, just send an astronaut or a cosmonaut to the moon.
Busy.
Maybe they figure there's nothing to be gained by it.
Maybe they can't get through the Van Allen belt.
Well, then why wouldn't they say that?
Yeah,
like why would they?
Why wouldn't they just do it?
If they couldn't get astronauts on the moon,
If they couldn't,
if
it's
they couldn't
impossible.
do it, then why wouldn't they be like, hey, you know how we don't have astronauts on the moon? It's because America's full of shit.
You don't
That's
think
why.
Putin would have opened his mouth now as much as he's angry at us?
He's pissed.
Why would they just do it? I don't understand. Why would they just?
because
Question with a question?
Yeah. But why would they do it? Maybe because a scientist would say there's not much scientific value in it. For the money you spend, getting pictures and things are fine, but there's not much to get. We don't need to send people there to pick up rocks. Scientifically, there's probably no reason to do it. It's been done. 12 people have done it. The U.S.
And they want to
did
go
it.
back.
Base tourism. Sure.
Hotel.
I get it. But maybe there's no is it crazy to say that the Russian and the Chinese, the risk of putting a man in space and sending a guy and the cost, if they say what's the scientific benefit when we can land something, it can pick up samples and leave. Like what's the use of sending someone just for some conspiracy theorists to go, okay, there's a Chinese guy on the moon?
Well, I just don't know why you wouldn't want to do that.
Because
it costs billions of dollars.
And you're risking people's lives for no benefit. That's probably their
And
answer.
if you can't get people through the Van Allen belt,
right?
Why wouldn't China just say, "Hey, we want to do this, but
it's
can't
impossible.
Get people through the Van Allen
Why
belt.
wouldn't Russia
the
say
US
that?
Is lying.
Why would India say that?
The Westerners are lying again.
Yeah.
Don't believe
I don't know why they just wouldn't do it.
You can't
You
answer
stop
that.
answering a question.
Yeah, answer it with a smarter question, which is why wouldn't countries
That's
that
gonna
are
be tough.
clearly they're clearly rivals
All right,
of the
you
United
guys
States.
are right. I don't know what I'm talking.
No, but they're clearly. If it was just France and Britain, I'd go, all right. Well, we're all kind of in cahoots anyway. We're all friendly, but Russia and China would do nothing to make us look better. Ever.
They prefer to make us look worse.
They would do anything to make us look like assholes, especially the Soviets who we beat to the moon. Would love to make us look like fucking blithering idiots.
Russia's making our gas expensive.
They are.
Why wouldn't they be like, hey, those assholes didn't put those assholes on the moon?
Yeah.
They put the first man in space. The first orbit of the Earth. I mean, Russia.
Allegedly.
A lot of firsts were Russia.
I don't know about
Put
that.
somebody on the moon. Russia should put somebody on the moon. That's all I gotta say.
I think
They're
getting
busy.
there.
They're in a
Honestly,
war.
getting there first, I think, was the big thing. Yeah. Like that was the claim to fame. And now, if they do it, and there's nothing to be gained, they'll say, "Why did you do that?" And they won't have an answer.
That's why we had to fake it, to make sure we're the first.
Fake it till you make it.
So they didn't call us on it for what reason?
I don't think they knew.
To this, you figured it out before Russia and
You
China.
think that guy, that 3.5-hour YouTube guy, figured out something the Soviet scientists couldn't?
I think he did. Yeah.
Somebody sent Putin the link.
It's actually it's a great documentary.
Putin, wait till you hear. Wait till you are going to make Biden look so bad, dude.
Wait, go back to that for a second.
I can't. I mean, I'm
The guy,
randomly.
you think that guy in front of the screen just cut that guy?
No, this
videotaping
guy,
himself.
This guy is trying to debunk. They go to the debunkers.
Okay.
So they listen to what the
Okay.
debunkers say, and then they debunk what they say.
Okay.
They debunk it.
But I find like it's almost like flat earthers when they do the test and they get the results that everyone knows they're going to get, which is that the Earth is round. They automatically, instead of just admitting they're wrong because their whole identity is wrapped up in this shit, they're like, "Oh no, the test must have been."
I understand you think my whole identity is wrapped up in the moon landing.
I'm not saying you. Troy, not you.
I think this is funny.
I'm not saying your identity. I'm saying people who have actually you haven't run tests. I'm saying people that have. I'm talking about the identity of the filmmakers.
Real quick, because it's a block. Because the computer's blocking it. What does your shirt say?
Occupy Mars.
Okay.
Well, Elon's getting us there.
Oh, that's good.
After he buys Twitter.
Occupy Mars. I don't know why you think my identity's wrapped up in this.
I
don't care about any of it.
I just check your Instagram. clothing.
It's just fun. Look, you got an hour out of it today.
It's great. I'll talk about this every day. I love it. I love it. It's fascinating.
Me too.
Yeah. But I don't think I'm again to clarify. I was saying the filmmakers, guys that are actually doing these tests and making these film, even when they get the result by doing a test, they go there, they find flaw with the test instead of realizing this was the standard we set. We didn't get the answer we wanted, so now we're going to pretend the standard wasn't good.
Do you think we're secretly in cahoots with Russia and China?
Yeah, possibly.
Very possibly, right?
Would you be surprised if we were?
Yes.
You would be, Jim?
As a matter of fact, I'd be 100% surprised if we were. Yeah.
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 Okay. That's interesting.
Sure. We have to break because we have Mark Norman coming. We don't want to be late for Mark.